Well, how would vaccine passports impact nightclubs, impact big venues? Well, joining us now is Peter Marks, CEO of REKOM UK, the UK's largest specialist operator of late-night bars and clubs. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Delighted.
So, how on earth would it work? Would you have somebody on the door checking all of this? Would it be open to forgery, to fraud? Would you welcome it? Would it be a way of saying to customers, look, you know, this really is a safe place to come?
Well, only a week ago, the COVID Status Certification Review report stated that it wasn't a good idea, it couldn't be implemented, it was subject to fraud, that it would be unfair on the young that hadn't had both vaccines, and a whole other plethora of reasons why it couldn't be brought in. And I welcomed that. I was delighted to see that because I thought, well, why would we just want to do it in nightclubs? Because there's a whole lot of rubbish talked about with nightclubs. You know, people think that they're terrible and that that it's an absolute soup of a virus potentially, etc., etc. So I was delighted when that came out, and then I was absolutely dismayed when all of a sudden on Freedom Day, before we'd even opened most of our clubs on Freedom Day, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we shall just do it for nightclubs. That makes sense. And hopefully there's enough messaging there that we can clear off on our summer break and everything will be okay. Honestly, Nigel, I could not believe it. And
well,
the reason is because,
I guess from his point of view, from Boris's point of view, I guess he says, well, nightclubs tend to be below ground. Nightclubs tend to be, you know, a heaving, sweating mass of humanity. I mean, that's his impression, isn't it?
Well, I dare say nightclubs were like that when Boris used to go to them in 1983. But let me tell you now, they're not. We've got the best ventilation in the whole of hospitality because of the days of smoking. And because of pyrotechnics and smoking, you needed to be able to clear the place very, very quickly, just in case there was a fire. So I'd love to tell you we put it in the last 12 months. Not the case. You know, the average nightclub has, you know, something like £250,000 worth of ventilation if it's a sizable club over 1,000. And my clubs are nearly all over 1,000, 1,500. They're nearly all the largest clubs in their city or town. And it's just, you know, if ventilation's important, then frankly, that's what we should be talking about here, not vaccine passports. Now, let me just sort of paint anything else. What you do is you risk assess your way into working around the risks, and whether you're running a nuclear power station or a nightclub, what you do is you work with the scientists and you work what you should do to minimize those risks. And frankly, that's how we should be back, not through vaccine passports. It's just political claptrap.
OK, so you hope the government gets beaten in the Commons in September?
Well, I'm not going to say it as simple as that, because what I'm concerned of is that Labour will say, well, yes, we shouldn't have vaccine passports, but nightclubs should remain closed. And that's where the difficulty is for me.
No. Well, it's been a very, very tough time for you, and it looks like you're not out of the woods yet by a long, long way. But Peter Marks, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.